All was dark. Time meant nothing. Darkness and light were one, a unison of grey and changeless. The last flames of what was once warm are now dead. Fire turned to cinder, cinder turned to ashes, ashes turned to stone. Cold, bare, lifeless stone. The word lingered, it waited, clamored for life, for movement, for a grace that never came. And the word kept dying, agonizing in the weightlessness of dark, standing still within an endless abyss. No gravity to pull it down, nor spring to shoot it above. By the contractual fate of what came before, the universe would fade, piece by piece, fragment by fragment, into oblivion. Until one day, when the condensed matter of all the ones that lived and died, that burned and killed, came together, the word split. Nothing is known of the two halves of this word. Some say one of the sides collapsed into a dreadful nightmare of blood and madness, whilst the other sought reverence toward the east, where honor and pride flow in its people's veins. The word, now too, exploded with life, exhuming its past and reaching new heights, new possibilities, an unending quest for the beyond. But there was something else. When a plane is broken, no matter how perfect and careful it is cut, there are always fragments. Most forgotten, faded from memory. Some lifeless, crumbled and collapsed on themselves. And then there was the one. A larger fragment, golden and full of power, inheriting traits of all the words that came before, and the shards of the ones that will come to be. Raised from the dust, shouted through the veil of smoke and mist, urging life into its muscles and bones. The lands between, as it would come to be known, sprawled wild and vast throughout the cosmos. The night sky and the moon greeted its inhabitants with a cold breeze, whilst the sun graced the land with warmth and light. From their mating, water and rock broke free from its inner being, tearing its smooth skin, which was then covered with grass and trees. The scars on the surface became valleys and hills and canyons, protection for life arriving. At the end of the first round of the sun, when the moonlight shone from the horizon, its green pale gaze settled the burble of existence, setting life as it should be. And at the end of the moonshine, the word was done. The cosmos offered another chance to a shattered land. From the first tree, an acorn sprouted, grew and fell. It emanated a golden sheen, a gleam of power. From this acorn, the earth tree was born, the first and greatest of the Elden grace. And the cycle began again, and life began again, a word of peace without any want. Oh, but life is fickle, and it daunts balance. One creature found its way to the bottom of a young earth tree. She was brought to it, wishing to touch the source of the power of the word. She desired to hold and contain all its might within her own self. She climbed the tall roots of the tree and reached the base of its trunk. There, in the midst of braids of golden wood, she found another acorn. The brightness was inebriating, tantalizing, alluring, and without questioning the burning desire within her heart, she devoured the fruit of the Earth Tree. A knowledge of eons broke inside her body, a wisdom not made for flesh and skin, but for great ones, the ones above all. But still, against the odds, she contained the might of that golden power and became eternal. Marika, the Eternal, ruled the lands between with knowledge and power immeasurable. From her own flesh, mighty and amazing beings came to be, and the world became alive. Her reign was one of peace and prosperity, of worship to the source of all life in the lands between, the Earth Tree. The acorns of the tree were offered to her own children, lords and kings and queens, as a sign of respect, love, and a maintenance of the stability achieved during Marika's reign. However, the desire for power only grew in the hearts of the other lords. Campaigns were made towards the Earth Tree, with the sole purpose of gathering acorns and shards of the tree to be brought to their respective realms. Wars and conflict over their control of the Earth Tree and its fruits arose, leading to an era of chaos and death. Marika, in her infinite wisdom, walked down from her throne, swam across the lakes of Liurnia, and with a swift and clean movement, ripped apart the heart of the tree, and with it, all lust for its might. The conflicts continue, and even more so now that the power of the world was free. But not for long. Marika walked further, into the west, into the fading lights of the sun. In her absence, the world fell into massacre and death, blood and mutation, of hatred and envy. Greed was the currency and the sword was to pay. In her solitude, away from the realms of the lands between, Marika melted the golden heart of the tree and melted into an artifact, strong enough to hold and contain this power for all eternity. The Elden Ring was then brought back. Marika ruled once more, but with iron fists when there was once tenderness. She held the Elden Ring high, claiming her power over the land and all its inhabitants. Marika's second reign was one of despair, fear, and paranoia. Upon her return, the Church of Marika was founded, worshipping the living goddess and her uncontrollable power. Anger and hate brewed inside of her, and more than any others, she resented her own children most. The winds of change, however, are never late, as they arrive when change is needed. And needed it was. Under the bright shades of the spirit of the Earth Tree, a communion was created, one of many in the whole realm. The Fingers, as they would be known, agree on an assault on Marika's realm, forcing her to drop arms. The many councils took place, organizing and plotting against the angry goddess. But the winds of change are swifter, as from within her own house, under her own roof, the breeze turned to gust, and gust to hurricane. And before the Fingers were able to move, the Elden Ring was shattered. Thank you for watching this possible retelling of the lore of Elden Ring before it was shattered. If you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe and follow me on all my socials. Thank you very much.